What's up? This is Draco.
And this is Alicia.
And you're now tuned in to OD,
Podcast.
Oh.
Period.
Hi,
what's good? Oh my God. What a week, what a month, what a day, honey. Oh my God.
Tell me about all of that shit, okay?
You holding up over there?
I don't know. I'm in a weird space right now, to be honest. I think that I'd be grateful for like my opportunities and my jobs and stuff, but I think that when it comes to like family issues and like personal issues, it sucks because I literally can't just pause my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish it was a way that I can be like, I can take days off work to just kind of like get my mind together and still get paid.
Yeah, because like a typical job will have like bereavement days where you can not miss out on money but still have the time. You know, it's kind of like understood, but I guess in your industry, it's not like you really have a boss to go to, so it's just a bunch of people reaching out.
It's like literally leaving funerals, going straight to work.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying?
I can't even imagine. And then you expect it to like be who you are because they don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, like I don't want to bring that energy into somebody else's space, you know. But in the same time, it's just like, God damn, I am human. But I mean,
well, I'm glad you're here.
What do I do?
People, so I appreciate it. I can't even imagine, honestly, because I really had to get myself out of going to work when I shouldn't have. Like, there's been times where I have actually went to work after a funeral. It's just stuff that I really had the benefits available to do it. So it's like, Alicia, them folks, if you leave, they're going to get somebody else to do your job. Like, stop doing all that.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. All right. Do we have a Black Business of the Week?
So my Black Business of the Week, I don't know if y'all remember, I was stumbling last week, but this week I figured it out, figured out who it was. So basically, I don't know if you guys keep up with designer bags or whatever case may be, but Gucci just recently ripped off one of my friends. Her name is Sonique Saturday on Instagram, but she came out with some bags a few years ago that were made popular by Amber Rose. Amber Rose and her stylist at the time, I think he still works for her, but I know he styles Nicki Minaj as well. But he and Amber were wearing these bags that were basically knockoff designer bags, and they were right on them and say like fake. So if it was at the time, Celine bags were the bag. So it was like, you fake like this Celine or fake Chanel, but they were writing on the outside of the bag. And recently, Gucci, they just used that concept, child. They got bags that say fake, but they're real.
Yep.
Which I think is like, a girl,
weird.
y'all know y'all didn't come. Yeah, like y'all know y'all didn't come up with that. So
right, her designs are very niche. I actually was shopping online yesterday and I saw a pre-order for some quote unquote fake Gucci slides, and I was like, "Oh, excuse you."
They were real.
Yeah, they were real, but they said fake, like it was painted on there.
Oh, MG. But yeah, like her page on Instagram is Sonique, Sonique Saturday. So I'm a little stuffy. But yeah, she has like Chanel bags, she has Birkins, but they're all affordable, they're all under $100, and I just like the aesthetic of it. Like her page is just so nice and clean and black.
Yes. When you sent me her page, I was telling you, like, I remember her when she went to Albany State with some, I can't remember if she's a Delta or she had this campaign she was doing. I don't know, but I think she is. But anyway, the reason why, and it stuck to me because like the way she used to post her fashions back in the day, it would be like that 3-image layout.
Yeah.
And I used to always go to her page. I mean, she has some style that I'm comfy, cozy swag. She's like, I don't care what time of day it is, I'm finna step out. But yes, I remember her. And I remember going to her page a lot, but I hadn't seen her page in so long. So when you sent me, I'm like, oh, this girl look familiar. Now, She had too many posts for me to go back and confirm, but I know it's her based off who follows her and who she follows.
Yeah. Yeah, so check her out. I mean, the bags are really cute if you want the look but don't have the money to afford the real one, which is fine.
And even if you do have the money, save some money.
Save some. Check her out, Sonique Saturday. Her website is Her website, of course, is www.soniquesaturday.com. And she doesn't, I'm looking on here now. She even has like little clear bags that she customizes. So all of her stuff is just like customized bags.
Yeah, it's handmade, and she got good handwriting for them to look good. How it look? Because my junk look like Scribble Scrabble and Stick Man.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna put all the information in the episode notes. Y'all check it out or whatever. I'm gonna check it out too. I don't know if I mean I've been on this designer purchase movement like y'all.
Listen, you've been on one.
I don't bought glasses, bags, belts, jackets.
Wait, what kind of glasses did you buy?
Some Ferragamo glasses. I got some Versace glasses that I had bought like maybe a couple months ago. And then so let me tell you what happened. I'll make it quick. So I bought I wanted a new bag and I bought this MCM bag. I got it from Bloomingdale's. Bloomingdale's having this promo. If you spend this amount of money, you get a gift card. And so my purchase qualified me for a $125 gift card. So I'm gonna use the $125 gift card to buy me this reversible Ferragamo belt. I was gonna get a Gucci belt, but I need a brown belt and a black belt. But the Ferragamo is reversible, so that means I can just buy one belt instead of two. Okay, cool. And then I'm getting this All Saints leather coat. This biker
you
jacket.
have money, okay? Listen to me.
No, I do have some money, but I'm not spending that much. So the jacket that I want, I was actually going to get it regardless. But what ended up happening is it's 20% off right now. And so I'm going to get it, a couple $100 off of what I was going to spend. So I'm going to get the belt and the jacket for like less than $1,000. I know that is a lot of money, but I don't spend money, y'all. I'm treating myself, okay? And so then I think I'm done after that. I like really basic go-to stuff, so I don't need like a red, pink, and all that. But if I have a brown belt and a black belt, that'll suffice when I do wear a belt. And the MCM bag is just a treat to myself because I just, I even wrote a little note. It said, "Hey Pooh, keep up the good work."
Oh my! To yourself.
Yeah, to myself.
I ain't mad at it.
And the glasses, let's be clear, I got those with my insurance, so they end up being from like $400 to like $48. So,
okay.
Yeah, and they the transition, so they're like regular glasses that turn into shades. So I really ain't pay that much money. I mean, with an exception of the $650 MCM bag that I got on promo because I signed up for the emails and got 15% off. Y'all got to finesse the system, okay?
Sonique had some glasses like that. That was like they go from glasses to shades, and I always thought that was weird because we'll be in the house and there'll be glasses and we'll walk outside and it'll just be like
and it's always that little moment where they like turning into it and it's like, girl, you okay? And it's funny because I used to look at it as like old people stuff, but truth be told, I never wear sunglasses because I wear glasses. And so it's like I'll just wear like the only time I would see myself wearing shades is if I wear contacts, but I only wear contacts when I wear makeup. So I was like, whatever. And what's crazy is I'm about to get LASIK, so what am I really doing?
Wait, you getting LASIK?
Yes, I'm getting LASIK and veneers. It's a new year, boo. LASIK, veneers, and new cars 2021, period.
Period. Listen, I definitely want to get veneers. I've just recently like been doing a lot of my research. Seems like Dr. Sam Soleil on Instagram is just the guy to go to because he breaks, from what I see on Instagram, he just breaks down why you shouldn't get them or why you should, or the reasons what would stop him from not doing it, or he can't go over certain dental work and all this other stuff. So I don't think that the shaving of the teeth is good. And he, from what I read on his post, I don't think that it's not good. But
it's literally a lifetime commitment. My thing is your teeth don't grow back. So like y'all just got shark teeth. Every time I see Lucci, I think about that picture when he had his teeth took out.
Okay.
Give me piranha vibes. I don't like that.
Okay. All right, man. It's like you take stuff too far. Somebody say one thing, you just have to take it far, but it's cool.
Sorry, I just like clarity. Okay, so what's going on in Shop Talk?
I'm actually looking for some right now.
I want to speak on something while you're looking.
Okay, come on.
Okay, so let me get his name right before I snap. Okay, so the CEO of Wells Fargo said, and I quote, "There is a limited pool of black talent to recruit from." Sweetheart, that's not true. And this is what's so crazy.
Like, what do you mean?
Right. And so number one, you the CEO, you're not a recruiter. So somebody told you that and you just ran with it. Number one. Number two, it's so unfortunate that corporate America has always been associated with white people. And that's a fact. Even like whenever black people, myself included, end up in positions in corporate America, the issue is always is not a lot of people that look like me. So we target specific companies to make sure that we're not alone, because you just don't want to feel awkward because now you're like the you in the fishbowl. People looking at you and they might not be intentional with it, but it's something that happens. It comes with that lifestyle. And it's crazy because I have so many. You think about how many black, even if you just look at black college institutions and the people that they produce, they're working somewhere or they're looking for work. But every time I get a job or I work for a company, I'm working with somebody who either has no experience or way less experience than me, is making more money than me, or is late. It's just so many things. And it's like, well, how did this person slide through the cracks? And I know so many well-qualified black people who would love to work for a company like this and they can't get in the door. And it's a lot of times, like I tell people all the time, when companies are hiring, they list a position for the experience. They don't even, they will interview you for no goddamn reason. It doesn't matter. They always already have some, not in every case, but most cases, they already have the person they want to hire. And it's somebody they slid. Now, I don't have a problem with people referring their friends, hook your friends up by any means. But you have to realize what the problem is. It's not, there's a lack of pool. Are you crazy? Let me tell you something. And I know that I've been very fortunate to be able to work for these companies and be one of the only black people, but I had to really finesse myself to get up in there. And then once I got in, I was like, well, this is what the problem is.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, they just don't look, like, it's like you got to be exceptionally better to even get something that's easy to get into. And it's so disrespectful for him to say something like that, especially because a Wells Fargo recruiter hit me yesterday. I'm like,
oh my God.
What pool was I in, love?
You was in the, your pool had a little piss in it.
Get what? And I can't even swim. So what's good? Yeah, I don't like it. Made me upset because it's like, it's always, so for me, whenever I have been reached out by a recruiter for a company, I always be like, how many black people they got? Because I don't want to be there alone, but at the same time, you want there to be change. So it's like, do I just work in this company and be uncomfortable so they can kind of be like, okay, let's hire more black people? Like, what do you do? It's kind of like, it's not my responsibility, but at the same time, there won't be change if you don't embrace change. And it just, it really annoyed me, especially, I know multiple black people that work for Wells Fargo, and I don't even mean on the front line, because it's one thing to be like, oh, I go to the bank, it's always black people. We talking about corporate America where people who work for the company and on the like the hourly level can't even get into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I know black people work there, and I know they felt the way, because it's like, excuse me? Like, what are you trying to say? Anyway, there are black people everywhere, and they are looking for jobs, and they don't have to work for your top, Fortune 50 company, but I'm kicking like they're not out here, and they are. And it's a shame that people have to do things like hide their LinkedIn picture or use a moniker for their name so they don't get axed out of these search results, because they'll see a name, they get intimidated. See a picture, you get intimidated. You went to a certain school, and they'll target these certain high level colleges like UGA and Georgia State. And Georgia State, I won't say high level per se, but because it's a very diverse school. But there are a lot of top level schools like Auburn and University of Alabama they recruit from, and you're not going to find a lot of black people at those schools. And so yes, it's nice to recruit from those top tier schools because it's like you had to be really qualified to get in, but you're not going to find diversity if you go to places like that. That's all.
Yeah.
And I represent for Clayton State, baby, because I be in these
clearly you have on the shirt right now.
I literally got a Clayton State shirt right now, and I rep Clayton State. The thing is, it should be about, even if somebody not necessarily qualified, it's nothing wrong with giving them opportunity, but you got to be intentional with your recruiting. You have to be. And I always feel like whenever I get to a company, and I will be intentional about recruiting people who I think would be a good match. Now, I'm not putting people on who are going to be lazy and not represent me well, but I do know that to get experience, you have to get experience. And it's like, where y'all missing this at?
Yeah. I never really had to experience stuff like that except when I worked at Mac. Mac is a company that always stresses the fact that they're all sexes, all races, all genders. Like that's just the nature of the company. But I did feel like the counter that I worked at, since it was at Bloomingdale's, they wanted somebody that looked a little bit more on the non-ethnic side. And the reason why I say that is because if you're familiar with the Bloomingdale's store in Lenox, that's like one of the stores that not a lot of black people come in. I mean, they do, but for real, most of our clients that were there were like older white women.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were trying to be like, if they
don't know how to get to that parking day. I know how to get to that parking day. That's why I park it every time. I'm just
yeah. But no, like the clientele there is a little different, which I understand. But the thing about me is when I genuinely like doing makeup, and I like working for Mac. That was like one of my dream jobs at one point. So I just felt like I was overqualified for a permanent position at Mac because for the longest I was just a freelancer. So a freelancer is basically somebody who come in and they fit, like if it's days where somebody they need extra people, they'll put a freelance on the schedule. Now normally a freelancer only works like once or twice a week, but I was working like 5 or 6 just because I was that good of an artist. And Mac is more of a company that is geared around sales now opposed to doing makeup. And I was good at both. Like my AUS and everything was high, but they just will always find an excuse to not hire me, which was fucked up, you know. One time my manager even, and we're cool now because I ended up going back and expressing like how fucked up that was that she said that to me. But I remember one time she said to my face, she said, I see you keep applying for a permanent position. Do you think you would want to work at Cumberland or Stonecrest?
Oh, you know
And
that's and why you
I
should be
said, why would
you
you
can.
say that?
Yeah, exactly, because it's the Blacker Mall, and you know your other people don't want to work there.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm here. I work here now, and my sales are high. I work here now. I'm bringing a lot of clientele. Like people would
Wow.
literally come in the store and ask for me because I did all I needed to do. I had to, in order for me not to get written up, we have to sell a certain amount. So of course, I'm going to use my social media to my advantage, and I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna be at work today from this time
Yeah,
to
I
this
remember you used
time.
to post that.
Yeah, all the time. So that has nothing to do with me. That's actually me using my resources to make y'all's counter get more money. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that, and it took a lady from I felt kind of bad. Like I needed that fucking job, but it was a lady who worked at the Bobby Brown counter. She was an older black lady, and she would always come over. She was like, you know what? Anytime somebody comes in this store, I always send them to you because I watch you every day. I understand. She was like, I literally watch how you handle every single customer. You always happy. You always got a good spirit, and then I just feel like you knowledgeable. Like you literally taught me some stuff. And she was like, I just don't understand why you're not even a manager because you do more work than the damn
Oh, if
manager.
that ain't a story of my life.
So she would always come over and she would give me gifts sometimes. Like every time I go to the mall and I walk through Bloomingdale's, I make sure I go find her. But like definitely. I never understood that. Like I feel like people overthink it. Like granted, there are some people who genuinely don't want to, because I've had people to come in and they'll be like, they want to work with a woman or they want to work with somebody around their skin tone. And I get that because black people do that all the time. They'll come in and they're like, I would want to work with a black person because I would feel like they will understand my skin, which I get that. So I just whatever. But I just don't understand why people just automatically assume just because somebody's black or they have a certain look that they're not qualified for something. It sucks that
Yeah, and I'm glad that is changing somewhat, I guess. And it's also crazy because Wells Fargo was one of those companies who said on social media when there was a lot of protests going on that they were making efforts to create more diversity in the workplace. It's just really sad. Honestly, like it's really no excuse. That's all I can say. I can assure you that there are plenty of qualified applicants that are African American. I'm not talking about people that don't interview well, those who do no call, no shows, or interviews. I'm talking about people who would get in that role and execute it well. So don't play with us. If y'all call me, I know y'all can call them. And maybe I don't know what made me pull up in the That's why I always hook up my friends' resumes and stuff. I don't charge them nothing because I just feel like, listen, whatever, like they don't need to have no excuse because you got to be 3 times as good for do something.
For sure.
Yeah, to do something that requires half the effort. It's a shame. When I was working on my last company, I used to see it all the time. I'll be training somebody and I'm like, okay, where did you work before this? Oh, I just graduated. I didn't even do an internship. You what? Do you know how many years it took me to get up in here? But anyway, all right, let's move on. You have something else you want to add?
So Ellen show premiered and she talked about toxic workplace allegations during the season premiere.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you watch it?
I watched her intro and she talked about it. She took ownership. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't know Ellen. I never met her. People were saying that she was mean, but I don't really to me, that wasn't enough to get her show canceled. And I also feel like people may take someone as being mean when they're passionate. Like, this is her show. Even as she said, my name is here, here, here. All this thing relies on me. I can see somebody with as much power and experience as Ellen being probably aggressive or mean behind the scenes. Because it's like, you running a tight ship. This is a very successful show, and we don't do no slackers. Now, I don't know if that's what happened, but I don't think that it's possible for somebody to be in her role and to just genuinely be nice or passive without hurting somebody's feelings.
Yeah. Beyonce said it herself. She said, you can't succeed in this business or industry being nice.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that doesn't mean Ellen isn't a nice person, but it's kind of like she has to be the personality she is on camera, but behind the scenes, it's like, hey, you was on your phone, you was doing this, don't speak to me, I'm stressed out. Now she is really running this business, married, having her own regular life. And I don't know, I just feel like, and I'm not saying this about the people that complain about her, but some people are sensitive and they get embarrassed and now they want to, call you out.
Period.
Per
I don't know much about it, but I thought that I'd bring it up to see if you knew anything. So
Listen.
I have my way that I feel about it, and that's just that on that. I mean, unless somebody can give me some more like in-depth details about the things that she's done to like demean somebody's character or whatever the case may be, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think most good managers are know how to communicate well, but are firm. You just got to be firm because people you give them an inch, they take a mile, and now your show is on it's a YouTube only show because you couldn't get the network to cut the check.
Ain't nothing wrong with a YouTube only show, okay?
It's not, but if it was broadcast on TV live and had a stage audience on this other stuff, and now you got to do it from, you know what I'm saying? So this week I had a conversation with a friend, right, who was talking to my boyfriend, and she was like saying, man, if you knew Alicia back in the day, you knew all this, let me tell you what she used to do. And I was just thinking like, oh my God, the stuff I used to do back. I know we talked about it on the show multiple times, but like things that I have done that I am not necessarily ashamed of, but I just cannot believe I'm the same person. Even somebody tagged me in a post this last week with some people that I just do not talk to anymore at all. Like some people I'm beefing with for life, and some people I'm just, we just kind of drifted apart. So I want to talk about fights that we have been in, or even just arguments, just
altercations. Just altercations in general.
Altercations in general, whether it was in public, it was at school, at work, just some stuff, and just like what happened. So I'm gonna let you start off.
So early on, I was just having this conversation the other day with Zay. So my cousins, my aunt who just recently passed, her sister, I used to be with her sister's kids majority of the time, and they lived on the east side. Mm-hmm. Now, the east side, it was hood, but it didn't have nothing on there. So when they used to come over our house, they used to be scared. Now, I always looked at my cousins, the ones I always looked at them as like thugs. Like, not for real, but I always looked at them as like just real tough people. But since I was the only boy in my house, for real, at the time, my sister, she would really make me fight. So, like, the smallest thing, her and my mama would just, like, force me to fight. Like, at first, my mama, she did that to me, and I think she felt bad. But my sister would do it constantly. Like, anytime somebody would say something out of line to me, she would be like, okay, and you finna go fight him, and and you better hit him first. Like, she would literally stand there and make me. I remember one time, I was 5 years old, and I used to leave my bike on the porch. So I looked out the window, and there's one boy who used to be like the neighborhood bully. He was riding my bike around the little cul-de-sac in front of our house. So I told my mama, I said, he on my daggone bike. Mind you, the boy in like third grade, I'm in kindergarten. She said, go get him off that bike. I said, what do you want me to do? She said, go get him off that bike right now. Don't come back in this house till you got it. Why this lady done went in the living room and grabbed a skinny flower vase and handed it to me and said, go get him off that bike. I'm like, I was like, you want me to knock him out with the flower vase?
I just want you to tell him to get off my bike.
Luckily, I didn't even get all the way to him with the vase before he just dropped my bike and ran. So it worked. But I remember a time that my cousins stayed over my house and they would never go outside to play with me because they were scared of the west side. I don't know why, but they were scared. So Child, I was about to fight my next door neighbor. My sister had rushed outside to make sure that I wasn't gonna get beat up. But my cousins literally looked out the window the whole time and just watched me fight this boy. And I brought that up. I was like, "Wow, y'all really let that boy?" That he was like 4 times my height. I was so tiny, and I had to fight him. But he built character though. Like I definitely became a person that just wasn't scared because I knew that I could do it. I'm like, well, shit, fuck it. You know, if I can fight him, I'll fight him. But once we moved from Stanton Road, from East Point, I ain't really have to fight. The only person that I fought was you.
Me?
Yeah.
When we fought?
And at the bus stop in middle school.
Oh yeah, you did remind me of that. Had it? Okay.
Oh wait. I'm lying because I definitely had to fight somebody in Chestnut Ridge before. Twice.
There you go. See that? Why you talking about me? Fight them demons.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? So,
no, go ahead. You got more. I know you got. Listen, out of our elementary, middle, and high school, you probably double my fight. So
okay. No, okay. So it's so funny because my mama never condoned fighting, so she was never gonna be somebody to tell. She was a turn the other cheek, tell them praise the Lord, I'm gonna pray for you type of person. So it really wasn't. I didn't really get to fighting in my hood, like in the neighborhood, nothing like that. I was just kind of honestly growing up as a kid. I used to be like, Mama, but if they saying this or doing this, I'm supposed to just walk away. So it kind of turned me into a little punk, low key. But I had to realize like you can't be playing like that because they gonna keep trying and then you're gonna be mad. That's what would happen. I'll turn the other cheek and they'll say something or do something and I'm just like, all right, now everybody like, hold on. Ain't no kids, they'll push it until you kind of like put them in a position where they can't push it no more. So anyway, so I don't remember my first fight, but I do remember a couple of situations I've been in. I mean, it'd be like in after school programs and it'd be something where, because I used to wear some bummy clothes as a kid. My hair was never done. So I would get like picked on because of how I look. And so I would just be like pushing. I don't push, I don't fall on the school bus. I don't like shook folks and choked them. I don't even know.
Oh, well, I never noticed.
In middle school, I remember multiple times where I don't like fought people over what they don't said about Bow Wow. Like,
oh
my
multiple
God.
people or just me?
Oh my gosh. So it was crazy. I feel like both of the young men they were both men, dudes. Both of the dudes I fought have now passed away, which is crazy to me. It's just crazy how when we get older, we lose people. But I'm not going to drop their names because I don't want stir nothing. But so the one person told me, I don't even know what he said. I swear I just like blacked out. And so I fought this dude in I know it was in Miss Abdullah class in 8th grade. And I remember he literally his eyes got so big, like dang, shouted like chill out. And I remember he used to never let it go. Like even when I would see him around like the west side, he'd be like, man, shout, I can't even believe you did all that. And I don't even know if he hit me back, to be honest.
No, I don't think he did either.
Yeah, but
I up, baby.
He even signed my yearbook, like stop shaking people, stop knocking people out of a Bow Wow. But I do remember in 6th grade, I fought this dude named Jerron, and I don't know what he said. I think he might have I bumped into him by accident, and I think it might have been my fault. But when he walked away, I was like, yeah, you better walk away. And he was like, what? So now we got to fight. So now we in Mr. Andrews' class fighting in the entry. And he definitely hit me bad. But it was my pride that really made me fight him. And then I think that's so I had 3. So that's 3 fights I had in middle school. I don't think I ever fought no girl. What's funny? But yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I was about to say, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. So okay, I think this was 10th grade, and this girl, she used to just play so much. Oh my gosh, she really used to get on my nerves. And it's just so funny how life come at you. Because honey, if you look her up today, you be like, now Miss Mamas. Really, to be honest, ain't much change on her end. But anyway, she just used to play so much. And so we was at lunch, and I think she might have like scratched my neck, and she wouldn't stop. So I was just like, you let it. And then next thing you know, we fight. And it was very short. I mean, it might not have even been 30 seconds. And I was so mad, Draco. Why I went.
That's a long fight to me. 30 seconds, that's a long fight.
And that's what's funny, but it really wasn't that long. Like, it really wasn't no drag session. And I feel like, I don't even know if we really got licks. It was more so like how when two people doing the same thing, we both trying to push each other and do. It was just like everybody, and it was. I think that was the only fight where it was like a big crowd, like it was a big old circle around us. It just was, oh my god, so unnecessary. But I was so mad. I had punched a locker. I'm like, now why you do that? Now your hand hurt. And then in high school, I fought this one boy. I don't even know. I don't even be knowing why these fights started. And I feel like it might have been because he bumped me and I got mad or something. And I might have told him the same thing. Yeah, you better walk away. And I think the girl had said, she was like, you gonna let him say that to you? And I was like, you right. And then now we fight in a corner of this we had like a concession stand by the cafeteria. And I had him, now I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna kick it like I knocked him to a point where he hit the floor. But I definitely had him pinned down on the floor, but only because he fell. But
okay.
But yeah, we fight. And when it was over, I'm like, the particular dude, I'm like, did I really just fight such and such? And all this stuff was really over pride. It was like embarrassment. So now I gotta fight because I'm embarrassed instead of just like letting it ride. Because I was never known to be somebody to be in no drama like that. Like I never was a fighter. I didn't used to be in stuff like that. But when I did fight, it was like stuff like that. It was like stupid. It's just stupid. Nothing worth bragging about. Because if you ask me, it never happened. That's how I kick it. But I was gonna ask you,
Oh, go.
Actually, do you remember this time we was at 5 Point Station and this girl had just started like trying to chump me off for no reason and we didn't even know her?
Yeah.
I always think about that day because I'd be thinking like, did I look like somebody? So y'all, okay, basically me and Draco was at the train station at 5 Points. If you're from Atlanta, you know 5 Points is like this huge underground train station. It's got a bunch of different platforms and stuff like that. And one day this girl started like popping off in the mouth to me. And I'm looking at her literally like, you talking to me? And she was like, yeah, you. And so I just like snapped. And I don't even remember what I said. I just was like, hold on, little baby.
Allen Iverson did me like that before.
I remember we got on the train and she was trying to kick it like she was finna like break through the little door that separate the cart. Well, really all you had to do was get on the cart with us if you really wanted to be something.
Yeah, weirdo.
Then do you remember that situation?
He just had some up with it. Oh wow, wait. I know exactly what you're about to say. The one on the train.
Yes.
Now that day was crazy. That day was crazy.
I don't think I fought in that situation. I just was trying to like, look, don't do that. Don't do that. It was all I know was blood.
I ain't gonna say okay, so what happened with me was I jumped in it, but then remember as soon as I got in, the boy was like, if you hit her, we gonna jump you. Remember? Because they were trying to push me through because I had like jumped up to jump in too because I was scared. And I'm like, oh no, they're not finna just beat her up, you know.
Exactly. And my thing is, I don't do weapons. I seen that knife. I'm like, oh, I ain't fighting.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Now that was a long fight. That fight lasted from H.E. Holmes to 5 Points.
It did. And then people, y'all, okay, so H.E. Holmes, so I think from H.E. Holmes to 5 Points, what's it like 5 or 6 stations? It's H.E. Holmes, Ashby, Westlake, Vine City. And then 5 Points. So 5 train stations. And so it's like 6, maybe 6 people. So it's like 4 of us. And then it's like 3 or 4 of them. And it's one big fight. And y'all, people are just getting on it off the train, minding their business.
Literally acting like nothing is happening.
No security was called. And I'm pretty sure the people that we was with was supposed to have got off at one of them stations at Ashby, I think. But yeah, that was some mess. But I was actually scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I'm like, if I get sliced, my throat gets sliced, I ain't gonna get to graduate from high school. Like, my whole future in front of me.
So my question is, growing up, right? My mama used to always tell me, if somebody hit you, hit them back. I don't care if it's a girl or boy.
Yeah.
Whoever. If somebody put their hands on you, you hit them back. Do you feel like, because I know we live in a time where everything is really, really, really fragile. And although I don't believe in putting your hands on a woman, like a man putting their hands on a woman, I don't believe in that at all.
Yeah.
What type of, how do you think a man is supposed to handle a situation when it comes to a woman putting their hands on them? Like, do you think that they should return the favor or
not the favor?
Am I supposed to just eat that? Because a lot of times women are very strong. Like, what if they knock my tooth out? Or what if I get harmed in the way like I get cut or anything like that? Like, how am I supposed to handle that situation?
I actually think about this a lot in two situations because you mentioned like growing up, your mom used to say, if somebody hit you, hit them back. I think about this with my nephews because if my nephews are in a situation where somebody's being mean to them or hit them, like, do I tell my nephew to hit him back or I tell him to tell the teacher? Because you want a teacher to be involved, but you don't want to kind of put that in his head that he's supposed to just like run and tell every time or not necessarily snitch, but it's like he got to defend himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to be able to, because I feel like as a child, you want to raise a child to grow up to be strong and know how to defend themselves, stuff like that. But you also don't want them to be, you know, saying getting in fights. Now, with the girl and boy situation, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think a man should hit a woman back. But I do know there are situations. I mean, we even saw what happened with Vado and Tahiri. Is that her name, Tahiri? Who dated Joe Budden?
Yeah, to hear you.
So she apparently, now I didn't see the whole episode, but somebody saw it and they would tell me, they'll give me the cliff notes. And basically like she had been hitting him, threw apples at him, was doing all kinds of stuff. And he actually like grabbed her. Now it did look on camera to us that he choked her, but apparently it wasn't that. Now to me, it's like people have a ticking time bomb. It's like only so far you can push somebody before they react. I do commend a man that is strong enough, or not gonna say strong enough, a man that is able to like resist stuff like that and just kind of like, but you're not finna sit there and just get beat up. I just think that there maybe a line, like I feel like if it's a thin line, man, because I feel like if you are being harmed to the point where you can't even take these hits, you bleeding, shot knocking you out, she got a gun in your head. I mean, you might have to push her. I don't really know, like, what you gonna do. Now, I don't condone him hitting her, but I could see somebody pushing somebody off of them. I mean, I don't know. I just don't even, it's just one of them. Because I feel like naturally men are stronger than women. Now, there are strong women, but I think that when people have a history of having the same behavior, you might not be able to take it no more. Now, I do think you should just remove yourself from that situation before it escalates, but every situation can't go that way.
Yeah, like even in like a lot of domesticated relationships, the woman is the aggressor, and I don't think people really understand or believe that. But a lot of times, women are like the aggressor in a situation where they're the ones who are beating on their husbands or their boyfriends and stuff like that. And people listen to situations like that and laugh because they like, you think you letting a girl beat on you and da da da.
But then it's like, okay, but if he's being a quote unquote gentleman and not hitting her back, like what he supposed to do? Now, I do think you should break up with somebody that's been abusive to you, but some situations vary so much.
I follow this one tattoo model turned porn star. His name, I forgot his name, but
I think you mentioned him before, yeah.
Yeah, and his ex-wife now, she was abusing him. Like she would be beating him with champagne bottles and choking him. She would be like doing all kind of crazy stuff that I don't even want to say out loud, but I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what is he supposed to do in a situation like that? You know what I'm saying? Because when it's the other way around, of course, we always advise women to either hit them back or call the police and get the police involved or leave. But is that the same case with women? Like, I definitely would have to get the law involved, but I don't know. I feel like those situations aren't put out in the media more than the men are.
Yeah, I think my expectation would be defend yourself and to a point where it doesn't create harm to her as well. Because I mean, I know I said earlier, push her off you, but I don't mean push her off to the steps. Like, don't push her down the steps. You know what I'm saying? But I think you should be able to do what it takes to get that person off you without creating harm. Like, don't slap her and choke her or kick her and all that. But I do think, I don't know, man. It's no acceptable answer, I think, because the way society has put, the responsibility on the man, and it is every time we find out we've seen a celebrity man especially speak out about a woman hitting, and they're like calling them weak and all this other stuff, and it's just kind of like, I mean, if he hit her back, y'all gonna be mad. So like, what do we do?
Not these niggas weak.
Y'all call him 7 days. What did you have you ever been in a situation where a girl was hitting you or doing something like that? I mean, obviously not a girlfriend.
Yeah, I brought that up because in like middle school and in middle school, I remember a few times where I got into a fight with some girls, including you.
Okay.
But for the most part, all of them, they hit me first, like including you.
Okay.
Like every,
I was young. I didn't
I
know better.
understand that, but I'm just saying, uh, all the fights that I've gotten into with girls, they definitely hit me first. And I was in middle school. Like I ain't gonna say no better, but that's how I was taught. Like somebody hit you in the back. I remember this girl. She was like trying to be a bully, and we were playing. We were playing like Interhawk. I don't know if you know what that is, but we was playing like this little ghetto baseball game called Interhawk, where you play baseball with the tennis ball, and it's a lot. But we were playing Interhawk, and the girl was just like, he missed that daggone ball, and he played for Ben Hill. If he missed that ball again, I'm gonna slap him.
Yikes!
And I looked at her, and I
Slap
was
who?
like, I ain't even say nothing. I literally missed it on purpose and looked at her. And so she walked over to me and like stood like in my face. And mind you, I towered over her.
Yeah.
So everybody is standing around us, and she slapped me. Her name was Nina. I remember that. She slapped me, and baby, we went at it. I mean, like I was throwing acorns at her when she was walking away. Like after we was fighting, not acorns, pine cones. Like when she was walking away, I literally was like trolling her, like throwing pine cones at her, because I'm just
Oh
like,
my
she
God.
really tried the fuck out of me. Like that's how I felt. Like she really tried me.
Yeah, I think it's different as a kid too. Also, let me be very clear. There's a difference between self-defense and domestic violence.
Yeah, but I think that even in most situations with girls, even if it is self-defense, the guy is definitely gonna take the fault.
Yeah, the law gonna be on the woman's side.
Yeah, because I even was watching like a story with Rihanna and Chris Brown. In that situation, Rihanna was the aggressor, and I want to say she even said it, and Chris Brown still gets reprimanded for that to this day.
He sure does.
You know what I'm saying? Like as much as I feel like he did way too much. Like he did entirely too much. Like
absolutely, he went way too far.
He went way too far. But I do feel like that's crazy how like even in the situation where the woman is being the aggressor, no matter what, I feel like the guy is gonna be the one that takes the blame for it. And I don't think that's 100% wrong, but I also don't think it's 100% right either.
Yeah, I think, I mean, and yeah, you're right. I mean, but, and it was not unfortunately, but I think the only thing people a lot of times have to go off of, because it's almost one of those situations where you can just say somebody hit you and they go into jail. And it's like, well, what are you even supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Unless somebody got bruises, and honestly, somebody can have bruises and not be the aggressor, and then and have been the aggressor, and then the other person gets like, it's just one of them things where I just feel like if you're in a situation where you are being abused, just if you can get yourself out of it, because it's like one of them things that people don't just not be abused. Now, I don't consider myself being abusive. I will say that as a kid, it's always some kind of competition going on. You got to prove yourself and all that. And I'm pretty sure that's why I was doing the stuff I was doing, but I think that when I have fought, it was either pride, me being embarrassed, or just not knowing how to really express myself. And so I wanted to fight because my words ain't getting through your thick skull. And that's not okay.
Well, I'm fighting. I'm just playing out. I won't put my hands on a woman. 2020, I'm a whole different person. I wouldn't do that. I think about my nieces and how angry I would be if somebody would put their hands on them, or situations like that, or my sister, anybody, you know. I couldn't even fathom no shit like that happening. So I'm like,
right, don't play with me, don't play with them. And it's so interesting though, because we're adults now and we look at our nieces and nephews and we want to protect them, but we were also them. And so it's like the perspective is just so interesting, because like I don't want my nephews getting in fights. I don't want nobody bothering them. But one day somebody might, and they got to know what to do. And it's like, I don't know. My granddad used to always tell me, he was like, somebody messaged you, pick up the closest brick. I used to be thinking, well, what if ain't no brick close by?
I feel like they all think that bricks just be sitting around. They say the same thing. And then the funny thing is, I ain't never really seen no bricks like that. I used to see cinder blocks.
Yeah, cinder blocks. That's exactly what.
I'm like, I don't
That's what I
know
think
if
of when I
could
think
pick
of
that
bricks.
up.
I don't be thinking of like the ones you build a house with. I think of like, okay, we about to, because the center block, you could put both hands in the middle of it and, you know what I'm saying, swing like a bat.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I ever use nothing like, I never use objects. I always use my hands, I think.
Mm.
Anyway.
No, I don't think I've ever used a weapon. I actually want some weapons. I was thinking about it yesterday, actually.
I definitely need a pistol.
I was driving and I live by a golf course and a lot of people exercise around the golf course. And I saw an older lady and she was walking with a golf club. And in my head, I'm like, that's so clocky. And I'm like, I wonder if it's something where you can get like expandable baton or something. You could put it in a fanny pack. Cause I'm like, I don't want to walk around with that.
You definitely can, but I think for her, she probably feel like they see me with this golf club, they're not gonna bother me, number one. And a golf club is heavy.
Yeah.
And
that's
it might
another
be for
thing. I'm like, she
dogs
probably
too.
can't even really enjoy her workout because she gotta have that in her hand,
No, that's a weight. That's a weight. But sometimes people, I see a lot of people around here walking with sticks sometimes because we have coyotes and stuff. So I think they might be having it too for
What's up with the coyotes in Georgia now?
Let me tell you something. I swear to God, I thought somebody's dog was behind my house. I thought it was a dog, y'all. When I seen that tail, I said, no, that ain't no German Shepherd.
What's up with that? I heard that they moving closer to the city because of their habitat is getting tampered with or something like that.
Of course, that's exactly what it is. A lot of areas that used to have a lot of trees, they're tearing down for construction. They ruining their habitat and our air quality. Go figure.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got 7 years, so.
That's a gap. So I don't think that the times are going to end in 7 years, but I think 7 years is when the effects will be irreversible. So.
Yeah. Not good.
Knowing our democracy, nothing will be done to fix that. So here we are. That's why I can't even imagine bringing a child into this world. All right. Anything you want to add to the subject?
No. Nah. Just don't put your hands on nobody. I mean, that's hard to say because we live in a world that's crazy, but
right. You don't know how you might have to defend yourself the next time you have an altercation. Yeah. I don't have a lot of high yelling arguments, but I be practicing for them in my head all the time, but they never happen.
I be practicing in the shower.
Me too. I be in the shower. I be in the bed ooh, if somebody step on my foot when I got on white Air Force Ones, I'm a goddamn.
Do you even wear white Air Force Ones?
So when I do get a chance, when the opportunities had come up to fight, it wasn't one of the arguments that I practiced in my head, and I don't like that. But all right, y'all. That is this week's episode. I got to get back to work. This episode is not getting edited. It's going straight out. So
it is what it is. If we messed up, oh well.
Because we ain't messed nothing up. I was attentive, but I'm on my lunch break, and this episode is coming out within the next hour. So hold it down. All right, y'all.
Yeah, I'm about to go to work too. Both of us got to go to work.
Have fun. Stay safe.